Good afternoon to everybody here and watching on live stream. Are we ready to have our hearts open even wider today? I'm carrying my phone right now because I got different texts from people and emails already about today's service, where I presume everybody got to see Brian as our guest speaker and singer and harmonium player. People were asking me, what is this? And I just acted like I knew what I was talking about on that, but it is beautiful. And Shayna Whitney's just sent a text and she said, I'm about to mention you, and she said, that was a service I will watch over and over again. So good. So not only do we appreciate the technology where we can go back and watch you over and over again and be live today, but we just really appreciate you. And so as you put out this beautiful, sweet energy, we're going to be giving it back to you this afternoon so that we can have that heart opening and awakening experience. And so I just want to say thank you and thank all of you. And if you, somebody was wondering how they can give with a credit card for the love offering today, Evelyn's right here, right now, hanging out with us a few more minutes if you did not get a chance to do that. And we also have the love offering out in front if you wanted to do that by cash or check. So thank you. And are you guys ready? Ready to have an immersive experience today? And this is absolutely what we're all about at Unity of Dallas. So thank you for participating and traveling and doing the work that you do in the world as a wandering monk. And such an inspiration. So blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend James. Om, namaste. We can kind of like keep the lights down low. So welcome to Satsang. Namaste. This is going to be like an energy bath, and something that I do all the time. It's pretty much kind of my whole path. Because what I've learned for me personally is that the foundation of the path is how do your energetics look? Like how clear are they? And many people miss the energetics. They don't know what chakras are, energy centers, and nadis, the energy channels. They don't know what the aura is. They think, oh, it's all invisible, so it must be woo-woo. Like, not real. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean yogis with eyes to see will be able to see all of your energy channels and see what's clogged and what you need to do in order to purify them and clear them so your energy can flow through, right? And that's called enlightenment. You heard the term. Enlightenment. It's the illumination of your whole being such that then your actions and your words and your thoughts are aligned with this light. So you'll naturally be helpful to people, you'll naturally be loving, you'll naturally be joyful because all the channels are open. So my intention today is to invoke the presence that you can connect with to really empower that purification process that I'm speaking of. So, and that's also why I call it mystical, because it doesn't really make any sense to the logical mind. We don't really understand it, but something definitely is happening. And I was talking at this service today that Christ indeed was a mystic. And in fact, in the Bible, it talks about opening the 7 heavens. You heard that before? Which are the 7 chakras. So even the Bible mentions it. It's just that it's been kind of like pushed somehow. The mystical part has been pushed out. And I think that has a lot to do with church and government. Church and government about specific ways that they want to present religion in a way that people will believe something. But this is more about, in a way, feeling something rather than believing something. Sensing something rather than learning something. So, can you feel it? Can you feel the presence? This is also your opportunity to practice that, to practice sensing the subtleness of your own being. And the more you do that, the more this spiritual path will make sense. This is a gathering on awakening the heart or awakening love. So you might find that we focus a lot on the heart space or the heart center, the heart chakra. This energy center, which is invisible, can be awakened. It can be opened, energetically speaking. It can be healed through directing the energy there. We did that at the gathering this morning. You remember the mantra. Does anyone remember it? Inanna Rahma, I am love. And you're focusing on your heart and you're developing that energy. So this is the idea. And so the first most important thing is simply to set our intention to feel the energy here in this gathering. Once you really get sort of serious about your intention, intention is another name for prayer. Once you really feel, I want this deeper connection and communion with the energy, then that will take you, that intention will take you deeper. So let's do that right now. And actually, you can even kind of go with me like this. And just in your mind, just think, I'm setting the intention to connect as deeply as possible to the energy and presence here. And then you can also say, and if you want, you could say this after me aloud. I am open. I allow. I allow. I accept. I surrender. And then when you state those words aloud, it's like it goes deep into the subconscious and unconscious mind and starts to open those places maybe where you're not normally open. One thing to note is the majority of your mind is in your subconscious and unconscious. You have no idea that those are ruling you, and your actions and everything that you're thinking pretty much comes from there. Meaning, in a sense, we're robots. We're obeying our subconscious and unconscious mind. A true yogi has cleared all the patternings of their subconscious and unconscious mind so that they're free, they're open, and everything that they do is spontaneous. Not programmed by what I did yesterday, or this is how I brush my teeth, or this is how I look at people, or this is how I judge, or whatever. It's completely spontaneous living, completely inspired living. Inspired just means even your thinking is inspired. So it comes from a different place. It's not coming from a limited mind that has been programmed by society, family, and friends. It comes from a cosmic mind and sort of into you, and you have these sort of extraordinary thoughts. Then people wonder, like, wow, where are these coming from? That's profound thinking. You're a genius. No, you're not a genius. You're just simply open to another frequency that's beyond a normal human. But in order to get there, you have to clear your subconscious and unconscious mind. And here's a hint. You can't just use your conscious mind to clear your subconscious and unconscious mind. It doesn't work that way. You know this very well. Otherwise, it would already be conscious. So all these are sort of blind spots and blocks from feeling the true cosmic presence or the infinite presence of life. So the gathering or the satsang, this particular place, helps to go deep into your subconscious and unconscious and clear things that you normally would not be able to get to. And that magic, which I described this morning, is called the grace. You know that song, Amazing Grace? What are you praising? The mystery, the mysterious power of God, which kind of comes to you and makes miracles happen, and you have no clue why it happened. That's the grace. So in that song, Amazing Grace, he's praising that mysterious energy and power. He has no idea what it is, but he's grateful for that. I bow down to that. And then that's a sort of humility, meaning I don't know how this universe works. So all I can do is bow to the supreme power, which seems to be, I don't know how I was born, how my mind was made, how my emotions were made. I don't know anything. I didn't build my body. Who built it? How is it running? Everything is running like this right now. It's like, this is no clues. All I can do is bow to the mystery. And the moment you bow to the mystery, that is a surrender. That's a humility. And it opens you up to a deeper experience of the grace and the energy and the power. So it seems to be kind of latent, this power. People are definitely not functioning to their full capacity. And so you can maybe take note of some of the things that I present to you. Maybe you can take those home and even use them for yourself to continue to invoke the energy. Because I didn't really want this to be just a one-time thing where you just came for some sort of show, performance or something. Like, this is a serious spiritual practice that, you can take to heart, and every single day keep working on clearing yourself. And you'll find, as I did, at some point, enough of the blocks have been cleared out that you have a totally different experience of life. That happened to me originally in 2007. I went to a spiritual retreat in Austin, Texas. We had a really deep breath session. Breath clears a lot, by the way. Huge amounts of karma get cleared through breath. And after 45 minutes, something happened to me. Something turned on like a switch inside, like a current, electricity, and just it started flowing upwards and pushing me into meditation. And I didn't have to do anything, like, I got to still my mind. It doesn't work like that. Like a fountain of energy just pushing up. And so now, and ever since then, it just continued on and on. So now I'm sort of in this walking meditative space all the time. So it's a nice place to be because it's always peaceful, where everyone is running around, worrying about getting this done. I'm just sort of like, What is everyone rushing around for? And I get just as much done. But my inner experience is different. And that's inner experience means, is your mind racing to get here and there and get here and there? Like this sort of movement that's stressful. Starts to make your heart race. So stressful. The mind thinks so much. What should I do? What should I do next? This and that. And then we become this sort of like so focused on doing things rather than just being. Why do we always have to do something? That's why I like it when people come here, because there's not much to do. The rest of the day, you got the whole list, the shopping list or the to-do list. Here, your to-do list, 0. Nothing, no to-do list. Please don't do anything. Really, don't. This is a stopping. And then you know what's amazing? When the doing stops, and by the way, doing happens only when your mind is active. It's not the physical doing. It's when your mind starts to rev up that the doer arises. That doer is an illusion. That is an illusion. It's made up. The mind says, I'm doing something, and therefore the doer comes and arises. When the mind becomes still, you realize there is no doer. There's only one being that's running the entire cosmos, the great mystery. Some people call it God. Only one doer. You are not the doer. You're not the experiencer. You're not in this body. You're not the you that you think yourself to be. These are sort of deep spiritual concepts, but the results of doing the spiritual work are you have those realizations. My God, there's no one in this body. Everything is being done, and I am not doing anything. Even though the body is going around and completing all these tasks, there's no feeling of someone doing anything. Everything is just being done. And the entire universe is just being done. So this is kind of, as I said, kind of the final results of spiritual practice is to get into that state. And it's so nice because when you're gone, when you're out of the way, then the universe can really run your being quite much more efficiently than you can. So I'd like to begin an invocation of the presence of love. And you can chant a mantra with me. A mantra is a word of power. It's a key to unlock your hidden potential. You could call it your divine potential. Okay? So, and this mantra you can use anytime. You could be I don't know, at a grocery store or something and just chanting it and trying to feel the energy of the mantra, trying to feel the invocation. And all day you could do it. Some yogis will do mantra all day because they really want to stay in the energy. They don't want to lose it. Once you lose the feeling of the presence, then you have to kind of like, okay, let me reattune here. So this mantra it's in Sanskrit from ancient India, ancient mantra, and it's Anandam Premanandam. So Anandam Premanandam. And we'll sing it together with an intention to feel it, to feel the underlying sort of spiritual transmission. Anandam Premanandam Anandam Premanandam Anandam Take in 3 deep breaths, breathing in the light of that mantra. Just relax and open. So there's one person here that really got it. You know who that is? Him. He got it. He got it. He could feel the meditation. You can even see it. You can feel it from him. He's getting it. Right? So that really says something. Oftentimes animals are far more open than people to spiritual energy. We as humans have clouded our hearts so much with just all the hard knocks of life, the difficulties and worries. You know that's why Jesus kept saying to people, don't worry so much about accumulating material things. Kind of put your attention, be like the lilies, they're beautifully arrayed. And they didn't toil to get their beautiful color. They just are as they are. So even the flowers are just the plants, so simple in this sort of beautiful meditation, and they're just releasing this perfume into the air, where humans are rushing around and really, really worried about life. And so how is anyone going to open their heart when there's so much anxiety and worry about getting things done and life in general? And I'm not discounting worry or saying that you shouldn't worry. I'm saying that you can actually take proactive steps to calm yourself. It's okay if you cough, I don't mind. It actually happens all the time in gatherings. People yawn, they cough, they itch, scratch themselves, they get really sort of antsy because the energy pushes out a lot. If you really get this energy, it'll start pushing out all your negative thinking, all your issues, all your heartaches, everything just gets pushed to the surface because remember what I was saying at the beginning, it's mostly subconscious and unconscious. So what happens? You get this arising of this power inside your system, and it pushes it, and you're like, my God, I feel really irritated right now. What is he saying? Love? What is he talking about? I don't want to hear about love. Or, that kind of stuff. Anti-love energies come up. What blocks you from being in the heart? People who have been betrayed, who have been attacked, verbally abused, people who are trained to feel guilty, people who have grown up with really harsh parents. Oftentimes people who grow up to be with really harsh parents can have that harshness lodged in their heart, and so they have trouble opening to love towards anyone, including their own children. And then this sort of pattern gets passed on generation to generation to generation. So I said to myself, I'm stopping that pattern right now. any of the things that passed on to me from I'm stopping this. It's done. And so I've been working hard on clearing, an intense clearing process that maybe is not for everyone, because you have to be willing to face yourself, your stuff, and go deep and reflect. I'll give you an example. So I'm really aware of my mind's judgments towards people, very aware. I can feel it come up like, well, that person was mean, that person wasn't nice, or that person was really nice, and that person was cute, or whatever it is. I can feel the judgments come, and I have this sort of ability to just kind of stop it and clear it again. Because the moment you go into judgment, you create separation. Here we're trying to find unity. That's why they call it the unity of Dallas, right? We're trying to experience unity. And if there's judgment of you're this and you're that and you're mean or you're nice, you're not experiencing unity. You're experiencing me and you're something that I don't like or I do like. That's not a unification. So, and the only thing that creates lack of unity is the mind's opinion or thoughts about something. And that gets you out of that experience of, and direct experience of everything as one. I'm saying direct, your living reality. So you don't feel other people around you, or a room, or chairs, or dogs, or cats, or air. Everything is literally one. That's real unity. Can you imagine? Remember how I said there's no person in here? There's this funny story about a monk who really was practicing his meditation, like in a cave even, somewhere, I think it was like in the Himalayas or something. Really serious, I'm going to meditate and become totally peaceful. And after some years of meditating in his cave, he goes out and he's walking and he gets to this like nice lake, and then there's this empty boat. He's like, oh, that would be a nice place to go and just like float on the water and do some more meditation. So he goes into the boat and he starts floating out there, and he's like, right, thinking of practically he's the only one on the lake. And then suddenly, boom, bump. What was that? And he starts getting really angry inside, like, this is a big lake. There's enough room for everyone in this lake. Why did someone ram into my boat? Like, kind of like, how dare you type of thought. He opens his eyes, and he looks, and another boat had hit him, but there was no one in the boat. And then he had, of course, this epiphany. Every one of his reactions and thoughts and ideas about life are an illusion. That was his epiphany. That was enough. And that was kind of his illumination. That all these are sort of empty boats. All of us, empty boats, and we're knocking into each other. Knocking just means interacting, but there's no one in there. We think there's something inside here and there, but there's nothing. There's just one infinite being. You could call it just space, one cosmic space, that's it. Everything else is made up, assuming that there's someone in the other boat. Does this make any sense at all? Yeah. I mean, it's a metaphor, I know, but it's trying to point to something really profound, which is that our mind is fooling us, fooling consciousness into thinking that there's someone out there. So the mind creates. In Sanskrit, they call it Maya. This is such an interesting concept. Maya, the illusion of the mind that has been programmed to see reality in a certain way based upon how it's been trained according to society, genetics, and all that stuff. And so it says, oh, that must be a person because that's what my mom said you were, so that must be what you are. And therefore the label goes. And so there's this subtle mind veil or like a superimposition of the mind onto the entire universe. That's totally made up, right? Every label that we ever thought of was given to us by someone that says that's a tree, that's a bird, that's a sky. All of that, right? All of that was training in school, from parents, from family, friends, everything. What if all of that was gone? All the labels, all the thoughts. Where would you be and who would you be? So here's another mantra for invoking the love. And in Sanskrit, it's a good word to memorize. The word for love is prema. P-R-E-M-A. Prema. P-R-E-M-A. Really great word to know. In fact, you could just actually just say the word prema, 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 and already you can feel like the shift. There's a sort of this powerful shift that occurs where your being starts to align with the presence of love. Just one word. We're going to extend it a little. Purnam Premam Anandam is the mantra. Purnam Premam Saranam. No, sorry. Purnam Premam Anandam. Sorry, I was forgetting the third word. Anandam. So Purnam means wholeness, completeness. Prema means love, divine love. And Anandam means bliss. When the heart is opened and the love arises within you, your bliss will be so strong that it doesn't matter how difficult life is, or who does what to you, who hurts you, who attacks you. Your happiness is through the roof. It won't be impacted by the outside world. You become immune to the hard knocks of life. Pretty much that's kind of what we're seeking. We don't want to be butted around anymore. And the cause of the butting is our mind. It's not someone out there. All the reactions that happen within us. Someone doesn't make you feel mad at them. You choose to become mad at them. Isn't that so? You choose, your choice. Even you bump your head against a cabinet and you get mad at the cabinet. The cabinet's not even alive and you're mad at it. How dare you? Stand right there. You should have moved out of the way. I'm just kind of trying to describe the ludicrousness of it, if that's a word, the ludicrousness, the insanity of our mind that reacts to an immovable cabinet. You know? So, Purnam Premam Anandam. We can sing it together. You're allowed to sing. You can kind of follow her lead because she's actually leading you all. And if you like, you can also harmonize with it too, which I bet you can. So, Anandam Premanandam. Or sorry, Purnam Premam Anandam. See, I keep like switching. Man, my mind is gone. Even I'm confused. Anandam Purnam Premam Anandam Purnam Premam Anandam
So shall I show you a way to move your energy into the heart? Is that a good idea? Yeah? Very easy way. A lot of times, people have their attention focused on earth consciousness, the root. Some people call it the root chakra or the root center at the very bottom of the spine. That is a symbol of consciousness, earth consciousness. I am a human on a planet and I need to survive. That's majority of people are living in that state, at least at this time, at this age, in an iron age. One could say a kind of darker age. So therefore, people act according to survival. It's kind of a man versus, or human versus human. Let's compete for resources and have wars and fight over it. That's pretty much kind of the attitude. So you can break out of that consciousness at the root and move that energy that is stuck there to the heart. That's what I want to show you. Does that sound like a good idea? It's so easy to do. So easy. So
imagine light at the very bottom of your spine. Imagine just like a globe of pure light. The very bottom of the spine. Just glowing in the root center. And as that light is glowing there, it's beginning to clear that energy center. So that center becomes more purified as we visualize the white light there. And just try to feel it. And then you use your breath and you breathe the light up the spine into your sacrum, or the sacral center. It's an energy center there. So you breathe through your nose and imagine pulling the light up from the root into your sacrum. So you go, and the light moves up. So the breath really helps to kind of pull your energy up. It's a key thing. So try that. Breathe in, and then it moves to here. And then imagine that the light is glowing in the root, in the sacral center, the sacrum at the back of the spine. And as it's glowing, it's clearing that energy center of all insecurities, fears. Try to see the light as clearly as you can, glowing at the sacrum, clearing all darkness. And then you take another deep breath through the nose and pull the light up into your belly, into the energy center here, kind of more of the solar plexus. So breathe it up. And then it enters into that energy center at the back of the spine. And as the light is glowing there, it also clears that center. And then breathe the light up from the solar plexus area into the heart center. So breathe in. Imagine the light is moving up into the heart, and as it is established there, that center also becomes purified and filled with that pure light. We're going to come back to the heart in a moment, but we're going to breathe the heart energy, or the light in the heart, up into the throat. So take a deep breath and move the light up. into the throat. And imagine as the light enters into the throat, that center becomes purified. And then we breathe the light up from the throat into what you would call the third eye between the eyebrows, the pineal gland. So deep breath in, moving the light up. Imagine it now enters into the third eye in the brain right there. And as it's glowing there, it clears that center. And then we breathe the light up from this third eye space to the very top of the head at the crown. So breathing it up. And now it moves to the top of the head and begins to purify, cleanse, and clear this center. And finally, imagine that the light then descends back down into the heart as the final destination. And as it enters the heart, it glows brightly there, a globe of light in the heart. Now you can think of someone who you know in your life who is in need of healing right now. Think of anyone and imagine that that person is kind of sitting right in front of you, or you can actually see their face. You're face to face with them, as if that person is in the room with you right now. And then we cup our hands in front of our heart and imagine that that globe of light in the heart just kind of rolls into palms of your hands. Now you're holding that divine light. And then you can just reach out and place it into the heart of that being in front of you. You can relax and notice how the light enters into their chest and begins to glow and expand through their whole body, healing that person. And you may notice the expression of that person's face as the light spreads through them. Imagine also that the light spreads into their aura, fills their aura, surrounds them. And then kind of in your mind, you can say to that person, "What message do you have for me?" And let them answer. And then just thanking that person for being here. And letting the image go. And coming back to our seat in the room, we can open our eyes. Did you know that prayer is way more powerful when you're in a meditative state? Do you know that? Way more effective when you set intentions for people. People think, oh, if I just say the words, then the prayer works or something like that. That's not how it works. Your prayer is empowered through your connection to presence, to spiritual energy. That's where the real power of prayer comes. If your mind is scattered and you try to pray, it might have some effect. You know, it's a good attempt. I wouldn't say don't attempt. But if you really want to help to heal people and send them good energy, then, one has to really work on spiritually connecting oneself to gain the ability for strong prayer practice. And, regarding spiritual practice and prayer, for me, it's kind of taken a discipline to do that. You know why? Because there have been many days where my mind is too lazy. I don't want to do it. I don't have time. All the excuses. So here's what usually happens. I have all these things to do, so maybe I'll do my practices when I get back, when I have time. Do you think that the practice is really ever going to happen? So, my suggestion, if you really want to break through that, is make the prayer or make the practice as a priority before you do anything. Why? Because that sets the tone for the rest of your day anyway. And things will go a lot more smoothly and a lot faster, and you'll save a lot more time anyway, because you'll be peaceful throughout the day. A peaceful person is highly concentrated. If they were taking a test, they'd get that test done quick, faster than anyone else, because their mind isn't distracted towards all these other thoughts. They can put their whole mind power on just solving the problem on the test. It's another benefit of doing spiritual practice and meditation. You get a strongly concentrated mind. You can complete tasks way faster than a normal human being can. Your mind is not scattered. Concentration requires, can I aim at this thing and do it and not think about anything else? And who practices concentration? They should have a concentration class in school, like when kids are young. That would be something. But that's not taught. So then what people have, like, I don't know, what do they call it? ADD? Yeah. So hard for them even to pay attention to the teacher, let alone try to meditate. So were you able to feel anything from that meditation going up into and then back into the heart? What did you feel?
Just still feeling it, lighter. I'm not sure the words because there was tingling, there was movement inside. Just I could feel the energy in the room.
Yeah.
Buoyancy.
Yeah.
Just sending that light to the person. Actually sent it to two people.
Mm-hmm.
Felt it being reciprocated somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So felt a lot.
See.
And the centering of thoughts.
Yes. And see, I ask him because sometimes it's helpful to verbalize what you're feeling. So you go, oh, it's working. Like, I'm becoming more refined. I'm sensing things. Because if we're always, doing things, then we don't really pay attention to the subtleness of our being and what's changing inside. So you could say, I'm kind of like a spiritual scientist, where I'm exploring energies in my own being. It's kind of cool. You could say almost kind of like a spiritual alchemist. Spiritual alchemist would be someone who tries to transform their dark places into light. And again, I'll repeat this. I'm saying most and not everyone, but most human beings, all their energy centers and energy channels are clogged with darkness, with some energy: grief, sadness, despair, boredom, laziness, procrastination, you name it, whatever those energies are, they clog the entire system. So there's not a lot of light there. So they're not experiencing the inner buoyancy. I love that word too, by the way. It's a great word. So we really have to make some attempt to start clearing these things, because we'll be way more effective in life. Whatever you do, I don't even care what you do. If you're a speaker or you're a carpenter or a mechanic or whatever. If you're a mechanic, you'll be a superior mechanic. Why? Because when you take a wrench and you're turning the bolt or whatever, you're totally focused, almost like you're one with the wrench and the bolt. So you get it done very effectively, all your tasks, because of your powerful concentration. So that's helpful. So this isn't just about, I joke about the woo-woo concepts of just floating into heaven and then just disappearing or something. It's about grounding the spiritual energies onto earth that you can function more effectively. So that's a reason to make the spiritual practices your priority, especially in the morning when you first wake up. And ideally, so here, if you want a fast practice, because people are in the fast track, they're like fast food, fast cars, fast women, I don't know. Whatever it is, fast. So here's something fast. Breathe the energy up from the root into the heart. So you just imagine light and just the breath alone, right? So imagine the light here and just breathe it like this. So I take a deep breath through my nose and pull it up. Then I breathe out, but I'm keeping the light there, right? And then I do it again. So I breathe the light from the bottom of the spine up. So you can try it, and you can even if you use your hand, it's actually even more effective because you're concentrating on where the energy is. This is about pointing your attention. If your mind is like this, out here, you're not getting the point. You need to focus. So here, like this, you go. Try it again. We'll push the energy up again. Each time you're feeling the heart more. Let's try 3 more deep breaths, breathing the light up. And then just relax. And now notice the change. Try to feel the energy in your heart itself. And so, the definition of a human, at least one definition, like I know is the primary definition of becoming a human, is living in the heart. Now, how many people on earth have qualified to reach human? Not many. Most people live in the lower energy centers, which are based on fear and survival and concern and worry and anxiety. So if you've got that, you're living down here. That's not human yet, that's animal. Animal consciousness focuses on just a few things. We all know this. Food, sex, sleep, and fear. That's how animals function. And that's how most humans live in the world. So So they haven't quite reached the heart yet. So they haven't actually become human. So the idea is to transform our our animal consciousness into human consciousness, to reach the human stage. Okay. So then once you reach the human stage, you're living in the heart. What happens? Sharing and caring. You naturally share and care with your neighbors. Like, it was so sweet. You know, I called up Reverend James. He didn't know me at all. And then he says, yes, speak here. Not only that, but stay on the house, on the property. You know, like he just immediately offered that, which was kind of a rare thing I've experienced, kind of rare. There was a golden age, long, long ago, where I could have simply come into Dallas and knocked on someone's door and say, hi, I'm in town to share spiritual energy. I'm a wandering monk. Would you be able to help me find shelter? And they would just let me into their house immediately, no question, no fear. That was the golden age. That's where everyone was living in their heart. Doesn't happen often now. People would think I was crazy if I did that nowadays. Because has anyone ever come to your door and knocked and said, can you let me in?
Well, I was going to say, he's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It just doesn't happen that much. Right? So it's kind of, because you're almost like surprised that someone would be that loving or like caring, that cared for someone they didn't even know. Like I didn't know him at all before this. So, but if the heart is open, there's just love. There's a desire to share and care. That's when you become human. Until that, you're striving. Now, so you get to human, then there's another stage, right? Which is crown. Remember we talked about the energy, the light coming to the crown. That stage is what some people call God consciousness. God is a very difficult term to define, so I don't use it a lot. But God could be considered as, I am infinite. I'm infinite. I'm everywhere. I'm everything. So when your attention or your energy rises to the top of the head, you start to experience yourself as everything and everyone. No exception. So you're the dog, you're the cat, you're the squirrel, you're the rat. You're the air, you're the building, you're the church, you're the grass. And you feel yourself to be all of it. You're the planets, you're the stars, you're space, you're all the galaxies, all the universes, your time, space, distance, everything. You are that. That is the crown. So think about like the gap, gigantic, right? Between just survival as I'm just this little animal that needs more food and to protect myself, and I'm going to attack my neighbor if they don't do what I want them to do. Right? That's like a dark, sad place to be. There's so much suffering in that. So, you know how you solve wars is you have all the leaders come to satsang, to a gathering like this. You say, okay, well, we're going to work on transforming consciousness. And once they enter the heart, they don't feel like having war anymore. They feel like going out and giving bread and all the problems that we would normally have on earth would no longer exist. So I feel that song is like a grassroots way to change the world in a sort of mystical way, changing the consciousness of people, because then their actions and their thoughts and their words change, as I mentioned before. Very simple, right? Seems simple. But to get a person who's bent upon war
to come to a gathering and say, yeah, I'd like to change myself. You actually have to have some desire to want to feel some love instead of war against your neighbor. Because war against your neighbor means war inside. You have an inner war that is reflected to the outside. What happens inside is manifested out. So if you're conflicted inside, then outside's not going to look so good. But if you're like space, you're beautiful and just you feel the love here, then you're going to see everything in a loving perspective. So even things that seem dark and cruel, you appreciate. You appreciate because, you know why? This is fascinating. You immediately feel like, oh, that person who's the so-called victim of some sort of crime, they're learning something, or they can learn something from this experience. Because the difficulties and challenges in life catalyze change within you to become a greater being, a more expanded being. That's why we even came down to earth for, so we could experience the difficulties, so we could grow in consciousness. Because if everything is so sweet and lovely, how can you grow? You're not put in any challenge. You have to have challenge to break out into a different level of consciousness. Like, think about this. Like, if everyone was just so sweet and kind and loving towards you, how could you challenge your insecurities, for instance? I need the person who's like, throwing a tomato at me or something, or saying, that's all nonsense, because then it might activate my insecurities. Oh, God, what they think of me. And then I have to process what that is so I can become more confident, more aware, more, So I need the challenges. One of the great benefits of being like a monk is like, you never know. You go from house to house and you meet all kinds of personalities and get into all kinds of situations. There's no stable comfort zone that I could get into. Because once you get into the comfort zone, no more growth. And some people strive their whole lives to get into a comfort zone so that they can retire and then go on vacations and have a happy life. This is not the point, to have a bucket list of vacations that you go on. I'm going to go to Hawaii and Jamaica and the Poconos or something. I don't know where people go. This is not the point. You want to create an inner paradise, not seek out an outer paradise. Everyone goes for outer paradise to feel more comfortable. How about an inner exploration of your being and a rooting out of all the darkness so that you can feel more alive? You'll find as that happens, you won't need to go on vacation anywhere. You will be so content with yourself. There'll be no need. Yeah. And this has been proven too. Some yogis sit in the caves of the Himalayas for like 14 years, and they are so radiantly happy just communing with the beloved inside. They don't need anyone or anything else. They don't get lonely. They don't need food. They don't need water. They're just in endless bliss. And they're like an antenna, like a radio bliss where they're just sending out signals to the world. They don't have to go anywhere, but their vibration is impacting everyone. So right here, where I'm with you now, this is my vacation. This is the best for me personally. This is the best. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to do any. I have no plans for the next hour. I don't want anything. I'm so happy as I am, here and now. The happiest moment of my life, now. And in that timeless space, so much joy naturally expressed. And it's timeless. Think about this. When the mind comes to a standstill, does time exist anymore? Time only exists when your mind is calculating the next moment to the next. You're thinking one thought and another thought and another thought. That creates time. Time technically doesn't exist except through the feeling of your mind that feels it. That's what time is. True yogis are not living in time. There's no such thing. So let's just chant one more mantra together, and then we'll conclude about that. Oh, and the microphone's working? Wednesday, yeah. Maybe after I conclude, then we'll talk about Wednesday, yeah. So, and one thing I just want to say is I appreciate you taking the time to come and be a part of this. This is really, it makes it special because number one is you're making a statement to your own soul. I mean, that's really deep. You're making a statement to your own soul that you love yourself enough, that you care to give attention to that which is most important. Your own inner being, your own true self, that you spent the time wanting to look, to go deeper, to awaken. That's amazing. And then number two is that we all get together as a group. Makes it way more powerful than if it was just me and Reverend James. Which, by the way, that's happened before. One person comes, let's do it. That's happened before. So this mantra is the words in Sanskrit, Hari Om. So it's Hari, you say it back there. Om. There you go. She's getting her voice. So you can sing it that loud too. I can hear you. So Hari Om means hurry home. Mean come back to your source. Come back to who you are. You've been walking through many, many lifetimes for eternity, sort of in this consciousness of like not knowing who you are. This is the time to break out of that, to realize yourself. That's what Hari Om is. Hurry home. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. these final mantras wash over you. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Jasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Ravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. And we place our hands in prayer position in front of our heart. And we'll chant together the mantra Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, sending peace to all beings in this world. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Peace. Peace be unto all.
Wow. How do you feel?